Manchester United. We'll talk about them next. I mean, play tomorrow night against Burnley. If they win, they go top of the Premier League table, 3 points ahead of Liverpool with the Liverpool Man United game on Sunday. Matthew, what what do you think about Ole and Manchester United, and where should fans expect them to be?
Well, finally, he's got a bit of a. I always said the issue was they didn't have an identity in how they played. But now I look at them and I'm like, right, United have got an identity. Like, I know when I watch them what it's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's his biggest thing that he's done now. I think he's got identity and he's found the players and he's sticking with it. He's not changing constantly. You pretty much know that midfield is going to have Fred McTominay in it.
Yeah.
You pretty much know that. Bruno, or whatever, Pogba, maybe sometimes he's playing, sometimes plays on that left of a diamond or whatever. But he's got an identity now. And to be fair to them, like, fair play, they look decent. They look decent going forward. The defending all right. And that game against Liverpool is one of the biggest Man U Liverpool games in a while. So I'm looking forward to it. Like,
what do you think the score will be?
I'm gonna go. We'll beat them 2-1.
Liverpool 2-1. I'm always really nervous about these games in general. It's to a similar point of Scotty with Rangers Celtic. You're never confident, right? You know what I mean, going into these games. But it's definitely the most nervous I've been in a long time. Especially if they win tomorrow. I think it finishes 1-1. I think it's a draw. I think Liverpool need to, in my opinion, Matthew and Scotty, I want to see Liverpool say, this is our patch, this is our title, we're going to show you what it takes to beat us. I don't want to see Liverpool. I don't want to see either team going for 0-0, and especially not Liverpool. And I'll say that as a fan. I won't be happy. Don't get me wrong, if it gets to like 80 minutes and it's 0-0 and both teams look a bit cagey and take the point, okay, that's football. But I want to see Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool go for the game.
I think the best thing that can happen to Liverpool is the last few weeks is failing to score. Mane and Salah are really choking on a few goals. And what a better way to stage to get one than
my opinion. You're in a bad run of form. You need something to get you out of it. There's no better game, and there's no better game to get you out of that and kick you back on. What overall, Scotty? Matthew just said all those things about Ole, and I think one thing he's spot on with, and something we haven't actually said yet, which definitely does not play in Lampard's favour, is Ole has found this formation, he's found the shape, he's found the starting 11, and he's stuck with it. And again, trusting the process and building that cohesion, it's starting to bear fruit for them a little bit right now. They're getting results.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to comment. I can't remember start of the season what I was thinking of Man United, but I definitely wasn't thinking title contenders, nor was I worried about them having a good season.
Yes.
Also, halfway through now, they look a genuine team. But yeah, it's hard to get that trust, that process, and build on something if you don't know your starting 11 or your best players. If you chop and change each week, it's so hard to build consistency.
Do you reckon if they get injuries, do you reckon they'll be all right?
I mean, what do you do if Bruno gets injured? I mean,
yeah, I noticed in the Man City game they did quite well to shut him out for a lot of it, and I didn't create a lot of really dangerous opportunities.
It'd be a huge challenge for Solskjaer if that does happen.
Yeah, no, I think that. Yeah, it's a big question if he can stay fit all season, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
huge question.
He's just so creative, and they've not got anyone else that's like that, I don't think.
So, in terms of, you bring up Bruno. This is something I'd written down for every team, and we'll focus on United, but we can go back and forth between the teams we've already talked about. Have the board backed their manager and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and have they gone and bought the right signings, in your guys' opinion?
They have finally now, yeah. I don't know if that was that social media thing about he's only ever 2 or 3 games away from getting sacked, but it always seemed like Ole was always in danger of losing his job. But the board did come out and say we're fully behind them, whether that they meant it or not. But
bearing fruit a little bit.
Was Ole's had? I mean, how he's been there a while. How long's he been there for?
A couple of years now. Yeah, I'll find out when he officially joined.
He's been there a good bit. I don't. I don't know if it's his inexperience in him chopping and changing his team so much and the formation and that.
2018 he joined.
So I don't know if it's inexperience of him chopping and changing his team and that so much, and then and now he's finally stuck with it. But like, surely like that was kind of like it's kind of like his fault, you know what I mean, and his responsibility
for not getting that 11 players together quicker.
for not getting them going and playing as much. But like I said, he's definitely found that now. But I think injuries to me would maybe be a bit of a concern.
Yeah, I mean, agreed, but
like it is to every team.
But see, talking about trust that process, surely it takes a wee while to build a bit of trust between player and manager, especially with Solskjaer, who's not as experienced. But see, when Ancelotti walked into Everton, I'm sure they trusted him 100% as soon as he walked in the door, just because of how big a name he is. But it's going to take Solskjaer a bit of time to build a bit of rapport and build a bit of trust between them and the players, surely.
It's if, buts, and maybes, right? And I'm not saying that Man United are going to go on and win the league title this season. God, I hope not. But
they withstand us.
But listen, but to the point though, what we've all just said, and we've been saying it for a couple of weeks, you can start to see, there's a bit of cohesion going there. There's a style of play. You know what you're going to expect from United. Like it's given the manager a bit of time to get through bad patches. I mean, like you just said, Scotty, social media for Solskjaer has been worse than Arteta has been for Arteta. I mean,
especially as what I was saying about the pundits as well. You watch any game, and if they have a terrible game, you've got Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, absolutely tearing the team apart, which doesn't help either.
And there's loads of pressure on you, especially at Man United, to have been the most dominant British team, and they were the most dominant British team for 25 years. But again,
they were, but at the moment they're not.
Accepting where you're at. Where are you? You've tried all these top managers. You've bought players like Alexis Sanchez and Zlatan Ibrahimovic and tried to go for short-term fixes, and it's not worked. You have to regroup and try and build something anew. Could go either way, but I just think you're, like you said, Matthew, you're starting to see what he is wanting to create with that team, right? You're starting to see it, and again, we said it. You can't really see it with Lampard. You can see Arteta's trying to play a certain style. So I don't know. I think they're bearing fruits of trust in the process and not pulling the trigger.
Then begs the question of can they if they do go top and they are top for a good bit, can they bear the pressure of that? Because that is another huge thing. Because if you want to be champions, you just got to deal with that constant, so much pressure on you.
Yes, I know, and I think Liverpool have felt that a bit this season. You know what I mean? The Liverpool squad have never been through it. It's so hard to retain a league title.
Yeah, it's part of it.
It's harder. It's harder to win it again than it is to win it the first time. You know what I mean? It's a lot harder to do that. So there's pressure on Liverpool from that point of view. They'll play into United's hands. But I do agree with you. Man United haven't quite been there. Liverpool had the Champions League final run, the Champions League win. They then missed out on the season by a point. Talking about trust in the process, you could see it was coming, right? And United are kind of maybe starting to get to the beginning of that volley where it's like, all right, like let's just see where this goes. If you don't win it this season, it's not a big deal. Can you recruit well? Can you build off of it? And see where the next step is, in the next season for him.